there, this is Steph, and welcome to the TNA Post Show. As always, I'm joined by my co-host. He's the star of the show, and he allegedly has no relation to Steve Macklin. He's the one and only Burt Macklin.
How's it going?
It's going good, just raining over here. It's raining where you're at too, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we need some rain here, so it's all good. All right, first, before we get into tonight's show, let's talk about a couple of things that happened this week that people need to know. So, in case you missed it, Joe Hendry coming in at number 15 in the Royal Rumble. What moment to hear 70,000 people singing "I Believe in Joe Hendry."
That was really cool. Just continue to show that he obviously even would be he's over wherever he goes.
Yeah, exactly. I will say I was a little disappointed by his performance. Hold on. Let me rephrase that. I was a little disappointed by the way he was showcased because even last year, Jordynne Grace, when she came out in the Rumble, I feel like she had a much better showcase with Joe Hendry. Not to mention she had a spot with Trinity/Naomi. So my thing was like Joe Hendry was number 15. John Cena was number 23. Mr. TNA AJ Styles was number 21. Would it have hurt if he could have just lasted a little longer and had moments with both AJ Styles and John Cena? Him getting speared by Roman Reigns, yeah, that was like had 1 million views on Twitter, I think, which is great. Happy, but I wish that he would have lasted a little longer and had interactions with John Cena and AJ Styles.
Yeah, and AJ Styles wasn't really who I was thinking about, but John Cena was the first person who I had been thinking about because Joe Hendry's continuing to kind of call him out in a way, saying he wants a match with him. And I thought that this would have, especially since this is during Rumble time and Cena's kind of announced I think he's done by WrestleMania, or if not a little bit after that. So I just didn't really see where that match would happen. I was trying to kind of book in my head, and the Royal Rumble would have been the perfect spot for that interaction. So yeah, it's disappointing they didn't do it.
John Cena's done in December. He said he was going to go the full year, so he's done in December.
So yeah, I'm just trying to think, unless he maybe just like some sort of open challenge, and Hendry answers it. I could see that happening, but yeah, the Rumble would have been fun because of the big stage that was on.
Yeah, and I would have definitely liked to have seen that, John Cena coming face to face with Joe Hendry, or Joe Hendry coming face to face with AJ Styles. I think that would have been such a big moment. I mean, don't get me wrong, Joe Hendry getting speared by Roman Reigns was a big moment in itself, but like I said, I really wish he would have just lasted a little longer. But nevertheless, I'm very happy. I'm so happy Joe Hendry had this moment. And, I cannot imagine what was going through his head as his music played and he heard 70,000 people just singing his song.
Yeah.
That's not all that happened this week. JDC arrived on, or should I say returned to NXT to do battle or to officially accept Alexis King's challenge for the Heritage Cup. Now, JDC, as we all know, was Fandango in the WWE, Tyler Breeze's tag team partner, and Fandango and Tyler Breeze together were Breezango. I really like Breezango. I was a big fan of Breezango. So sad they never won the tag titles. They should have won the tag titles. At least they won the NXT tag titles. But I think it's interesting to see JDC back in NXT. And the fact that he came out to his own theme song and not the system, I was like, okay. But what were your thoughts on JDC going back to NXT?
Yeah, because I would have thought, just because since he's coming back, he's not coming back as a WWE talent, coming back as like Fandango or Dango. He's coming back through the TNA partnership, and his name's JDC. So for them to play that music, I don't know. I wish they would have played the system music, just because I don't know. I always kind of thought the Fandango game was kind of dumb. I was more of a fan of him and him and Tyler Breeze, and I'm even more of a fan of JDC. So Yeah, but I like this whole segment. I liked how I believe he roasted Lexus King on his horrendous facial hair, which that's way worse than any gimmick, any Fandango gimmick. But I did like this. And I like how he kind of mentioned about the system collecting gold for the system. So I could definitely see this as one of the trophies / belts that would be exchanged, since it's not really a main title.
Oh, I apologize for answering for you. It's just you guys watch RH. I said we don't, but I mean I don't. But do you watch Ring of Honor?
Not really, no.
Oh,
I
okay.
watch the pay-per-views. Well, I try to, but not really weekly TV, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, do you think JDC will take the Heritage Cup back to TNA? You said that would be one thing that could possibly transfer.
Yeah, just because like I could see this, or like obviously of course the tag titles for either brand or the digital media title. Yeah, it's just not obviously not the main titles, but yeah, I could see JDC winning the Heritage Cup.
Then he's really gonna need Leon Slater to carry around those bags.
Yeah.
All right, last but certainly not least, Indy Hartwell was asked who would she would like to face now that she's a free agent. Now this is coming from Fightful, so this is from Fightful. As we all know, Indy was released and she just completed her 90-day non-compete clause, so now she's a free agent. So she said, and I quote, "I haven't done the whole write the list of people you want to work with. I feel like a lot of people do that. That's not really me. Who I want to wrestle will just coincide with my goals, with what my goals are. I don't want to be a girl on the roster. I don't want to be a knockout. I want to be the knockout. Masha Slamovich is a knockout champion. Put her number 1." So it seems like Indy Hartwell wants to be a knockout. Not a knockout. She wants to be the knockout. So I think Indy Hartwell will make a great addition to the TNA roster, and I definitely think that in TNA she will be able to reach her potential. As we've seen with so many people in the past, TNA knows how to tap into people's potential, knows how to utilize them to the max. So I definitely think that she would make a great addition to the knockouts division.
Always the dream to sign people like this, but obviously TNA should always go after people who want to be in TNA, and Indy's saying that, yeah, the signing should be a no-brainer. So hopefully they do bring her in.
Joseph says, "I can't believe the system will be in NXT. Johnny Curtis will likely bring Alicia Edwards with him." Oh, that'd be interesting if he does bring Alicia Edwards with him. The first lady of the system. All right. I think the TNA run would do great for Indy. She would be booked well. If she went to AEW, she would be lost in shuffle. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think she'd be booked really well in TNA. Joseph says, Antonio says, hi.
It'll be interesting to see, because obviously Indy just completed her 90 days, but it'll be interesting to see if there's any more really. I believe I saw that Duke Hudson was released as well from NXT. So it'll be interesting to see any more names that come out that have been released, just because, those are names I definitely would like to see TNA, look at.
I definitely do think Duke Hudson, from what I saw in NXT, I think he would make a good addition to the to TNA roster as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if there's any more women's wrestlers, just because we always talk about it, and it was really apparent to me too watching NXT this week. They just have so many women's teams, and and women's wrestlers in general. So just going back to people, my point on people getting released, I think a lot of those people would fit in TNA. So it'll be interesting these next couple of months to see if anything else happens with that.
Antonio says they do have a live show in Orlando on the 20th. She lives in Orlando. I don't know if Nixon Nipswell lives in Orlando. Oh, yeah, Tegan Knox. She would be
She's
another great
definitely another
addition.
one. She's definitely another one that fits TNA as well.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to say or add to anything that we talked about before we get into covering the show?
No. I'm good.
Okay. So tonight's show kicked off with a Joe Hendry concert. Joe Hendry, as we all know, Joe Hendry's concerts are a treat. Let me see. Yeah, Nixon just finished her 90 Days 2, booked an indie gig on the UK, I believe. Oh, okay, that's cool. I have to say, like, I've said this before. AJ Francis does not get enough credit for putting Joe Hendry on the map. If it wasn't for Joe Hendry's rendition of Higher by Creed, I don't think he would have gone rival.
Yeah, that definitely was a big moment. And yeah, they always say a great heel needs a great baby face needs a great heel as well, so to complement them. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
He doesn't get enough credit for helping put Joe Hendry on the map. Because it was because of it was because of AJ Francis that Joe Hendry went rival with his Higher. Okay. Yeah, she was on British Boot Camp. Her homegirl who tags with Chelsea Green and a couple other ones out in the Dirty One British Boot Camp. Oh, okay. I agree. Joe was just another TNA talent, but his feud with First Class was that rivalry that launched him into superstar status. Yeah, it definitely was. All right, so I really like the first song that he did, Henry is a Champion, which he did a parody of We Are the Champions. I thought that was a really great song. And I believe the second song was an original song. He talks about how there's so much division in the nation, mentions gas prices and inflation. Hey, that was actually pretty good. He was spitting bars. And then he gets interrupted by Jake something. And he brings up the fact that, Joe Hendry said that he would defend his title anytime, anywhere, so that next week it will be Joe Hendry versus Jake something for the TNA title. And Joe Hendry singing accepted Jake something's challenge. I'm actually looking forward to that match. I think it's going to be a really good match, but I really like this Joe Hendry concert. His concerts never disappoint. Again, such a shame that he got interrupted, but I'm not surprised. It's wrestling. Stuff like this always happens in wrestling.
Yeah, it would fall in line with like weddings and contract signings. Things like this always get interrupted or end badly.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on this segment and Jake something facing Joe Hendry next week?
I think it's interesting, but I think it's usually for a first feud in like a title reign. I like something like this. Why not? Jake something, Hammerstone is injured, so I like this.
Same. All right, next we get a Masha Slamovich interview, and she brings up Cora Jade using Masha's signature photo calling card, but she says that unlike Cora Jade, who writes or draws her X in lipstick, Masha draws them in blood. And she also brings up the Knockouts Battle Royal, and she says she's gonna wait and see who she challenges for the title. So I think this was a very good interview by Masha Slamovich. Definitely we're definitely gonna get a match between Cora Jade and her. When I don't know, probably at that February 20th show, but like I said, good interview by Masha Slamovich.
Yeah, definitely like this.
Yeah. All right. So next we get Tyson Dupont versus Ace Austin. I don't know much about Tyson Dupont or Tyreek, but I will say, based on what I saw tonight, dude is a star in the making. Like, this match was actually really good. Like, Ace Austin made Tyson Dupont look like a monster here. Like, homeboy would not go down. And Ace Austin managed to win after he hit Tyson Dupont with the fold. And of course, the Rascals come out with steel chairs to back him up after Dez and Tyreek attack him. But overall, like I said, like, this is my first. I think this is my first time seeing Tyson, because again, I don't watch NXT. So I was surprised by how good he was and like how much of a monster he truly was. I mean, compared to Ace Austin, dude looked like big out there, you know? He looked massive.
Yeah, it's definitely a really good match. I'm glad Ace got his win back just because I think Wesley did beat him last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Tyson and Tyreek's help with distraction. So I would think, obviously, now with the Rascals getting involved, we're gonna get that trios match, which should be amazing.
Oh, we're definitely getting that 6-man tag, and it seems it's going to be the Rascals and Ace Austin, not
Yeah,
Myron Reed. So it's an
yeah.
interesting combination, but I'm digging it. All right, next we get a Tessa Blanchard promo, and she's basically talking about how she wants to set the record straight, and she's not going to be in the Battle Royal because she's not a pendeja. That the 9 other women will team up against her. She says that the women have professional jealousy towards her and want to get rid of her, and she doesn't answer to anyone, and these women won't mess with her because they can't. So I actually really like this. I think that Tessa Blanchard is doing a really good job of portraying the heel. I think she's blurring the lines between kayfabe and like what's real and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. If the goal was for this promo to make me angry, yeah, just because I don't like the idea. She's basically saying, yeah, she's going right to the top. You know, she doesn't have to. She can just call her own shots and get a title match when she wants, and that just makes me a little nervous because in no way I think she should be the one to go over Masha. That shouldn't happen. But so I guess we'll just wait and see what their plan is with her.
Yeah, I think Tessa Blanchard versus Masha Slamovich, I think that's gonna be a very interesting match. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
I just think that Masha needs a long reign. So if they're gonna do that match, it doesn't need to be happen now. Just the way that Tess is speaking, it just seems like her getting a world title match is gonna come sooner than later. So I hope that doesn't happen. Masha's first title reign needs to, since she's the one that beat Jordan. This reign needs to be something.
Are you saying Masha should run through the division before she gets to Tessa?
I'm fine with that.
You know, I could actually see Masha being the one to break Taya Valkyrie's record. You know, I wouldn't mind if it's Masha the one that breaks it.
Also, there are just there are just people I would rather that I think, especially when we talk about the battle royal, there are people in that match especially that I think that should be world champion ahead of her.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Says Masha versus Tessa. If it happens, I can't see it wasted on TV. It will be on pay-per-view or ones as a special event. Oh, definitely. That's not a TV match. That's not a match you put on TV for free. You make people pay for that match.
Yeah.
All right. So next we get Steph Delander and Vance Warner. And they're basically, she brings up the fact that she got the digital media title in the divorce. And she and her boyfriend are, I guess, co-digital media champions. But on commentary, Tom Hannigan says that that's not true. They don't recognize them as co-digital media champions. So that begs the question, is the digital media title vacant? Or is Steph Delander the digital media champion? What do you think?
It seems like I could see them just going to them vacating the title, doing some sort of small tournament, leading to Vance Warner winning it fair and square.
Okay. With the finger poke of doom, you would say, maybe?
No. I'm saying they vacate it all together, and it's like a 4-man. You know what I mean? Just
do they're definitely setting up a feud between Mance Warner and Sami Callihan.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll eventually be for the digital media title here.
Yeah, whoever. I definitely just hope that it ends back with Mance. If it's not going to go, it just didn't seem like AJ Francis is going to be involved in this title right now. Seems like in the tag division. So putting on, I'd rather see Mance have it than Sammy.
Joseph says, oh, he can see, like you said, Burt, have Mance attack challengers for Steph, and she wins without breaking a sweat. Okay. Alrighty. So next we get the 10 Knockouts Battle Royal. We had Jazz in this Battle Royal. It was always good to see Jazz here. I like the fact that Heather and Ash by Elegance, they went under the ring thinking that they were smarter than everybody else, but Spitfire found them. Oh my god.
That was so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Cora on commentary was very funny too.
She was talking about how like she didn't want to be a part of this battle royal. That, you know, that if Masha keeps messing with her, she's gonna bring out Roxanne Perez, her best friend.
I just like how he's like, I don't like Ash. She didn't like Zaya. It was very fun. It was entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Now she I don't want to say sabotages, but she pretty much caused Zaya Brookside this match. She caused a distraction, and so Savannah Evans ended up being victorious here. So it seems they're gonna get Savannah Evans versus Masha Slamovich for that title. I think that's gonna be a good match.
I actually like this because it's continuing to build Savannah up, because seemed like they were trying to do something with her a couple weeks ago. I think she had like a squash match, and they had Savannah win, but Zaya, before she was eliminated, I think she eliminated Ash, and she eliminated someone else, I believe.
Rosemary.
Yeah, Rosemary. And Zaya is kind of who I was alluding to earlier. As somebody I think definitely she's somebody they continue building after tonight. She's someone that I would like to maybe see take the title off Masha eventually. But Savannah being Masha's, I think this will be her first challenger, right? Since winning the title. Mm-hmm. I like this, and especially if they have in the match Savannah look like a monster, get a lot of offense on Masha, because I don't think she's winning, but that should be the goal.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting bout, like you said. Savannah's not winning, but this is not going to be an easy challenge for Masha. That's for sure.
Because they don't, right now they don't really have a Havoc, Awesome Kong type monster heel in the knockout division. So Savannah really could be that, fill that void if built right.
I agree. All right, so next we get in Eric Young promo, and he's basically talking about why he chose the Northern Armory. He said that Josh Alexander was going to quit and basically leave Sinner and Saint out to dry. And he brings up great Canadian wrestlers and TNA legends such as Bobby Roode, Gail Kim, himself, Josh Alexander, and the list goes on. I can't think of any other Canadians. But, crowds are chanting USA. And so he gets interrupted by Steve Macklin. And Steve Macklin just was like, I opened up to you, told you things that I never told anybody about, the war. And so obviously it seems like they're setting up a feud with Eric Young and Steve Macklin in the Northern Armory. Josh Alexander comes out. And I love the fact that Josh Alexander and Steve Macklin have this moment where they're on the ramp and they kind of just look at each other before Steve Macklin leaves and Josh goes into the ring. And basically, Josh acknowledges that he is leaving. He says that, Santana Marella granted him one final wish and he doesn't want to leave with regrets. Then next week, he walks on the ramp for one final match. It's going to be Eric Young versus Josh Alexander. And Josh Alexander's final match in TNA. So, overall, I really like this. And it just seems like After hearing for months that Josh Alexander's contract is up, like next week it's the end of the run, the end of the line for Josh in TNA.
I like how Eric. Well, it's not like he pointed it out the way I'm thinking of it, but I like how Eric Young basically said, kind of like what I was alluding to. It's like you started a faction, and then you plan on because I just think it's funny how it's not like Josh is retiring. I can't think of any time a wrestler was like announced that he was quitting, and then like you know what I mean, and then just kept, and then just like again like he started this faction, and like if he knew he was quitting, it's like what? So he did like Eric said, like he planned to just kind of walk out and like with not wrapping this up. You know what I mean? Like, and so like if kind of real life, you know what I'm saying? Like, like yeah, like he's like leaving him, so I would be kind of mad too. So, but I also do kind of like that. Well, maybe kind of like slash dislike that they also kind of started something with Eric Young and Steve Macklin. So now if they're not going to automatically just put Steve Macklin in that group, which they probably shouldn't. He doesn't fit. They should now. It should be kind of turning Steve Macklin into that. Make Steve Macklin should come out of this being like the top, if one of, if not the top babyface in the company now.
Yeah, I
That's the
agree.
Henry Santana.
I think they should be used to turn Steve Macklin into a mega babyface.
Yeah.
I will say I do question if this was always the plan to have Eric Young, turn and join the Northern Armory, and they just sped it up, or I wonder if they just completely did a 180 because Josh is leaving. I would like to think it's the latter. I don't think this was the original plan. I think that definitely was supposed to lead to maybe something with Eric Young and Steve Macklin. But they had to switch gears because Josh is leaving, and they probably didn't want to just drop the storyline.
I would like to think that this was the plan, but that they're kind of saying that they're kind of playing into the fact that he is leaving, because I don't think they would just create a faction and then just without a plan and then just I think they knew when his deal was up. So the idea they would create a faction and be blindsided that his contract is up, you know what I mean? So because and obviously like the way Eric Young set the promo up too by naming all those like Canadian wrestlers, and he didn't say Team Canada, but he said that Canadian wrestlers, and it's funny because I think Anthem's a Canadian company, because he said Canadian wrestlers have basically ran TNA, Canada's ran TNA, and so him being this group's leader now is a natural fit. So
Yeah, and next week we'll say au revoir to Josh Alexander. So
where do you think he goes?
I think he goes to NXT WWE. I see him more in NXT and WWE than I do
Same.
in AEW.
It seems like even before the partnership, it seems like WWE's kind of been getting a lot more of the free agents compared to AEW, especially from the the indies and the smaller promotions. So yeah, I do think he especially now with the partnership. I think he goes to WWE.
Okay, Joseph says, I can see Josh in WWE. He did admit that there were 3 occasions he should have crossed to NXT to do something with Ethan Page, but it didn't work out for one reason or another. Okay. Norris Spark says, TNA is doing a better job of adjusting to things as they change. That is true. They are. Alrighty. So next, we get a segment with Sami Callihan. And he's over there looking for Mance Warner. He runs into Frankie Kazarian, who, according to himself, was cutting a promo to put himself over.
A 5-star promo.
A 5-star promo. Now, he tells Santino Marella that this is an unsafe workspace. And Marella basically tells him to go back to work. He's like, I am going to go back. I was cutting a 5-star promo. This was hilarious. Frankie Kazarian is doing such a great job of being a heel.
He's like, I'm trying to get myself over. Like the way that he said that, it's just so funny. Yeah, this was good.
I wonder if he's gonna still be announced as the king of TNA.
He should be.
Yeah, he should be. Our next we get a 6-man tag match. It's Leon Slater and the Hardys versus the System. Now, I thought this was a fun match. I think Leon Slater, I think his style fits in perfectly with the Hardy style. And I really like, one of my first spots in this match was that Blue Thunder Bomb, the down and dirty, and the senton that the System did to Leon Slater. So
This match reminded me of when WWE, like back in the day, and they kind of continue to still do it but they would bring some legends in the team with a current star, and just seeing Leon Slater getting to hit some of those Hardy spots with them. This was really fun.
it really was. And honestly, Leon Slater and the Hardys ended up victorious with this. I did like the finish to this, which was a 450 to Moose by Leon Slater, and then the Swanton Bomb by Jeff Hardy. So it was a good finish.
Mm-hmm.
And then did you see there the Hardys and Leon Slater all had matching face paint?
I did not notice that. I don't know how I didn't notice that. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Or they had they came out wearing like a face, like I think it was face paint.
Mm-hmm.
But they were matching, which I thought was really cool. So next, we get a very interesting Mustafa Ali promo. Now, John Skyler, and Jason Hodge were arguing. I really hope we don't get the split of the good hands. But Mustafa Ali tells them that they can be great hands. And he sees Sasha Steeles, and she's like crying. She's upset because remember, during the Battle Royal, Lish eliminated her, even though they're supposed to be a tag team. And he's basically trying to console her here and tells her that they need to do something about it. If not them, then who? And if not now, when? And so he hopes her up, and then he leaves with Steele. So it seems like Mustafa Ali's building some type of cabinet here.
That's funny. That's funny you called him that, because wasn't that JBL's faction in WWE? Okay, yeah. I'm glad you said that. I like this whole segment.
Sounds like Ali's trying to form a new cabinet. I think Tasha Steeles is Mustafa's first lady. Oh, okay, the first lady. I could definitely see that. The good hands are going to be his private security, maybe secret.
And
service?
they should go by the great hands now.
Yeah. But this is great. We need to come up with names. I don't just want to call them the cabinet or Mustafa's cabinet. What can we call them? We need a name for this faction.
It's only the first day, so we have time. The first night.
That's true. Technically, it hasn't even been made official yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we got time for a name. All right. Next, we get Mike Santana versus Matt Cardona. This is actually a really fun match between Mike Santana and Matt Cardona. Mike Santana is victorious. No surprise here. I mean, he's the new guy, So he has to build up wins on his way to becoming TNA World Champion at Slammiversary.
Yeah, agreed.
And since they were in Texas, he did pay homage to Eddie Guerrero. All right.
Yes. This was a good match. I didn't think Santana was losing.
I would say.
I don't expect him to do a lot of losing this year en route to the winning the world title that we keep talking about.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the main event to be for the NXT Tag Team title match, Fraxiom versus the Nemeth brothers, with Ariana Grace on commentary. Ariana Grace hyping up her besties here. I think this was a fun match, and it was an interesting dynamic with Nick and Ryan Nemeth, because Ryan at the end grabbed the chair from under the ring, and Nick tried to stop him from using it. But you could say Ryan cost him this match because he was trying to, I guess, cheat to win, and it backfired on him because Fraxiom ended up retaining here.
Well, yeah, obviously that's on the surface, that's what happened, but it's also another step in the plan of the heel turn, because maybe obviously next time it'll probably be successful. Nemeth will be cheating, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
This was a really good match. Nick, Dolph Ziggler, now Nick Nemeth. He's good. Ryan's whatever, but Fraxiom, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom are just so good. Like, they were so quick. The way how fast Nathan Frazier hits the ropes. This was such a good match. I'm not surprised Fraxiom retained.
I like how you were like, Ryan Nemeth is whatever.
Well, I'm just saying.
I know what you mean. No, but yeah, like I haven't seen much. I've seen some of Fraxiom. I did watch NXT for a while bit. And yeah, they're an awesome tag team. And I'm not surprised that they retain. Justice says Fraxiom should go buy lottery tickets. Thought their luck would have ran up as NXT tag team champions here. Would have been interesting to see Nick with their G. It definitely would have been. I'm very curious to see who does become the first person to win from WWE NXT to win TNA gold, and the first person from TNA to win like NXT gold. So I'm very curious about that. But overall, this was great. I think this was a really solid episode.
I think I agree with you on that. I think the first person, if it happens, I still think it's going to be a women team from NXT taking the Knockouts tag belts. Okay. I think it's not a long shot, but I think there's a better it's a bigger percentage chance of Cora taking the title off Masha than what people would think. I think that could happen, but I think the best, like I said, is these secondary titles. So JDC beating Lexis King, I think that's a real possibility.
Okay, I can see that too. And $1 million question, as always, is: am I going to watch NXT?
I think you should, but again, there's really like no. It really hasn't gotten to the point where there's that big of a brand involvement with either show week to week. It's not like there's a lot of TNA on NXT. It's not like there's a lot of NXT on TNA. It's in spots.
I'll think about it. I'll think about watching NXT.
At least they announce, when there's going to be a match, so when you should pay attention.
Okay. Alrighty, anything else you want to mention or add as we get ready to sign off?
No.
Alrighty. Oh, Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
All right. So thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever we go live and whenever Body Slam goes live. And we'll see you guys next week for Josh Alexander's final match in TNA. Bye.